That's the Nvidia Hype Rollercoaster. And this is 5 minutes before the launch. And then launch comes. The whole roller coaster just gives out. So early in the morning or late last night, I'm in Australia, so it was a late launch for us. The websites here in Oz were all down. They were flooded with traffic, and you could get a little bit of website up. And if you got that small time frame where that website was up for you, and you used basically only text, which is the most important thing. If you want to get one of these cards and you know demand is going to be huge, you have to put your browser into text-only mode. So that means not loading up the images and stuff like that, because the servers are so overloaded, they're not going to be able to spit out data enough. So if you were lucky enough to buy one of these cards on launch, then you were one of the very small few, where I feel like this launch has just been a roller coaster. This is the easiest way to describe it. But let's of course talk about the problem first, and then we can talk about the solution. And the solution, unfortunately, ain't going to be one that's going to be alleviated anytime soon. But let's get into it. And before we do, if you're new here, make sure you hit that sub button for us and also hit the like button. Helps me out a lot on the YouTube algorithm. But what we saw here was Nvidia issuing a public statement. They said they apologize for the launch of the RTX 3080. Now, there's a few things that happened here, right? Let's backtrack to when Jensen live streamed the RTX 3000 event. He hyped it up big time. And then after that, I'm guilty of this too. YouTubers are hyping it up, and then it released. And I thought the hype was real. Like, this thing delivered. It delivered in not only the performance, but it delivered in terms of offering, for me personally, that HDMI 2.1. And that connects to those OLEDs, and you've got 120 Hz 4K refresh. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. And so you saw this reality of this card was at 700 USD. It was a really good buy. That's if you could get it for this price. Now in America, I saw the pricing on Newegg, and it was reasonable. Like, they were charging $50 more for AIB cards, and I've got a review coming out on the Tough Gaming soon. And the AIB model, I feel, is justified. I'd personally go out and pay the extra $50 for the AIB models. I think they offer better cooling, and with that, better overclocks, which if you're gaming at 4K, you're going to want to overclock this thing to get more performance. But we'll talk about that in the review when that drops. So straight away, the cards in the US were reasonably priced. But if we go over to good old Aussie down under where I am, this was just a mess. Like, all the retailers were charging way more than the 1,139 Aussie dollars. I think PLE and M-Wave actually had within the realm of realist pricing. Like, it wasn't a complete ripoff, but then there was other retailers that were charging 1,700 Aussie dollars. This is the retailers. And that's about 1,230 USD for one of these cards. And I tweeted about this. I was like, this is just too much. Like, I mean, the other retailers are offering it for 1,400 Aussie dollars. Where's the extra 300 Aussie dollars on top coming from? That's just pure scalp. And this is the problem right here, is that you've now got this additional element in 2020 where scalpers are coming along and they're buying up these cards without the purpose of using them for gaming, without the purpose of using them for even crypto mining. And that's the thing. If you guys are worried about crypto miners, you don't have to be, because I've got a video coming out too where I've tested the crypto mining and it's not good. People are not buying these cards for crypto mining. So what's happening now is you've got a lot of demand from gamers, and you've got people who realize that, and they're buying up these cards just with the purpose of reflipping them. And we saw on eBay this absolute mess of people offering bids for pre-orders, and then you had people that missed out on cards, and so they went and trolled all the people who were selling these or scalping these cards, and it just became an absolute mess. And so that leads back to the problem of, if you want to get one of these cards, I know a lot of people want to get one of these cards, what do you do about it? And I don't recommend going out and paying double retail. That's what the scalpers want you to do. That's how they make their buck. That's how they get justified to keep doing what they do. And this is the funny thing. If people think, oh, this is an Nvidia problem, this is not just an Nvidia problem. This is also PS5, the PlayStation 5. the pre-orders opened up, at least here in Australia, they opened up yesterday morning. And that sold out like pretty much really quickly. And so now the PlayStation 5, that's sold out until 2021. That's pre-orders for PlayStation 5s. So I can only imagine what happens when the Series X drops, where the Series X looks like it'll perform even faster than the PlayStation 5. I think people are just going to go crazy for these new consoles, but we're also seeing people going crazy for these new RTX 3000 cards. So demand for these latest and greatest tech products in 2020 is simply, it's at a level that's never been at such a level in the history of any gaming product, really. Crazy demand is going to come these supply shortages, because if anything, at least Newegg, like I gotta say, at least Newegg, I do give them props for not just blasting the prices out of reality. And so at least that's one thing that came out of this that was actually good. Newegg didn't scalp people. So Newegg, kudos to you guys for not trying to scalp the launch prices. But from here on in, there's got to be a newer system in place. That's the only solution for it. And what is the solution? Well, I saw some retailers doing raffle tickets, and I know people will laugh straight away, like, what? You've got to enter in for a chance to buy a card. And really, when you look at that, the raffle system, I think that's the only way to do it right now, because that's the fairest way. You're making sure it's not going into the hands of a bot. And so this is another problem that's happened. You've got these bots that are just, essentially what a bot is it's just a automated program that will do what you tell it to do. In this case, buy up graphics cards from the websites extremely fast. And so that was a problem that's been around for a while now. And scalping is nothing new. I mean, scalping it's pretty much been banned when it comes to tickets and events, because you'll have an event and then you'll have so many people that want to go to that event, and there's only a limited number of tickets. And so people who know that people really want to go to that event, they'll buy up the tickets and then resell them and make money. This was traditionally where scalping sort of really came into play, with people wanting to profit from it. And so now it's affecting the tech scene, and it's affecting the tech scene big time. You're going to have scalpers, and this is going to go on for years because of the supply shortages and because of the world the way it is. People are staying home more than ever, and when they're staying home more than ever, they're going to be gaming more than ever. So I guess you're essentially now dangling these amazing products. And look, these products are good, and I'm sure the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, they're going to be amazing, just like the RTX 3000 series. And so when you dangle these products in front of people, they're going to want to get them. They're going to want to get their hands on one. And so going forward with Nvidia, I think they're going to have to be put on notice and say, hey, we need more supply before we actually announce these products and release them. But at the same time, I know why they want to get their product out first. They want to be the one with all the eyeballs on them. And same with the PlayStation 5, right? That pre-order came out of nowhere. They want to beat Xbox Series X to the chase. So they want to get their product out there first. They want to build the most hype. But the problem is you're now creating a lot of frustrated people who want to get their hands on it and they can't. So there has to be a balance. There has to be a better system for people buying these cards. Even the raffle system, I agree with that. And there also has to be more supply before you actually release these cards. Now, in terms of the RTX 3000, I heard that these cards are going to be much more in stock towards the end of October. And so, at least in Australia. Now, when it comes to the US, I guess they'll get shipments beforehand. So I'd say mid-October, you guys could probably expect some more cards to come in play. But you've also got the RTX 3070 coming out. So I'm guessing around that time frame, you're going to have both those cards hit with a bit more stock. And of course, there's the RTX 3090, which I can only imagine if that has the demand that the 3080 has, then you're probably going to see these things going for $2,500 USD or 4,000 Aussie dollars. I think when people laughed about those prices, part of me was like, nah, I think that's a possible scenario. So to break it all down for you guys, the hype was real, the demand was real, but the supply wasn't. And that's the problem right there, is the supply. And so Nvidia, they have to be aware of this, and they have to say, look, when we launch these cards, we have to at least do some kind of a survey and realize, hey, maybe we should hold back the launch until there's much more supply in stock. That would make it fairer for everyone. And sure, if you want to create the hype, just let the reviews go up and just say, due to making things fairer, we're only going to sell these a month later. I know it might seem like a crazy idea, but at least you're going to have a lot less frustrated people out there. And this goes for the Series X and also the PlayStation 5. They're going to suffer the exact same problems where they're going to have supply shortages too. And so I feel like in 2020 now, with all these amazing like gaming products, and as I said before, the hype is real. It's justified. The RTX 3000, like I was gaming on that on OLED, 120 hertz. It is something you want in your life. And I'm not going to lie about that. I'm not going to beat around the bush to try and downplay this card. It is freaking amazing in every sense in the word. Like, you're going to see me, I've already seen me in my Founders review. Yesterday I recorded that after no sleep, and I was still excited in that review. Today's review of the Tough Gaming, when I look at that, it's going to be even better, because that card is, like, in my opinion, is better than the Founders. So you've got these amazing cards coming out, and they're good. And kudos to the companies for making really good leaps and bounds for gamers in 2020. But now there's this new problem out there, and it has to be addressed, and I guess you have to think of a new solution. Things are ever changing, right? In this whole world, things are always changing, and you've just got to adapt, survive, and thrive. And so, I mean, well, Nvidia's already thriving, but I feel like they've got to adapt and just let the gamers that they're targeting thrive as well. Because at the moment, man, I don't think the gamers are surviving out there. They're like, damn, I want to get my hands on one of these cards, and I can't get my hands on one of these cards. What do I do? And the only solution right now is to simply wait. And this is the problem. You got guys like me. I'm telling you how good these cards are, and you want to get your hands on one, and you're just frustrated because you can't. And so that frustration is not good. It's not a good thing. Anyhow, guys, that's all from me today. If you enjoyed this one, then you know what to do. But with that aside, we've got the question of the day here, which comes from Mitchell Sobol. And they ask, is there an LG OLED monitor that can do this yet, or is it only the TVs? And yeah, unfortunately, it is only the TVs right now that are giving out the OLED gaming experience. And I've been harping on in my monitor reviews for years now that I want to see OLED gaming monitors, and no one's doing it. But LG's doing those OLED TVs, and trust me, this is what your eyes need. Basically, I keep harping on about it. I'm like a broken record here on the channel. They put these cheap blue LEDs in the back of your monitors, and they sell it as gaming products. And your eyes do not see detail through blue, period. They see it through green, and they see it through red. And so OLED emits light through these green and red spectrums, and it's good for your eyes. It's much better than cheap blue LED or white LEDs, because they've got a yellow phosphorus layer on them that are going in the back of gaming monitors. And it's funny because even the older CCFL backlighting technology, when LCDs first came out, is better for your eyes than these LEDs are. So that was my biggest gripe with it. The fact that LG are offering these OLEDs in a form of a TV, I just want my eyes to feel comfortable again with gaming. So, and if you don't believe me, look, if you don't believe me what I'm saying, you can go out to a depot store, go buy a little blue light, a low blue light for when you go to sleep, and just try and read a book with that low blue light on, as opposed to say a little green light or a red light. And if you use the blue light, you'll suddenly realize that your vision is diminishing. The quality of your vision will diminish very quickly. But basically, don't do that. I've been there, done that. It's an experiment that is just, I don't want to go back there again. It was horrible. Anyhow, I'll catch you guys in another tech video very soon. Peace out for now. Bye.